Whew, what a game three we had down in Dallas. Celtics, I thought, had this one on ice. Credit to the Mavs for a hell of a comeback, but we end up Celtics win up 3-0, finals over. Congrats to Boston. First title for them with the score. First title since 08. They deserve it. Very excited. We'll get to more of that when they actually do officially win the championship. I would say my guess is Friday. They're on a clean sweep at this point. But let's break down game three here. Few takeaways. Biggest one coming out of Wednesday's game is this. Jaylen Brown showed everybody he is the most important player for the Celtics in terms of winning a championship. He is the guy. Tatum is the most talented, you could argue, but Brown is the guy that is the most important for the Celtics to getting this ring, and I think future rings as well, because he is the guy, when the going gets tough, he's the one that gets going. In these close games in the fourth quarter, he's the one who's making the plays that stem the tide towards Boston winning these games. Like, Wednesday's the perfect example. Dallas makes that massive 20-2 run. It is a 1-point game. The Celtics are on the verge of blowing a 21-point lead. Who's the guy that makes the shot that stops the bleeding? Jaylen Brown. Who's the one in the fourth quarter, offensively and defensively, is the only one really making plays for the Celtics to keep them alive win this game? Jaylen Brown. Who's the only one that's taken a confident stroke? Who looks like they know the ball's going in before it even leaves their hand? Say it with me, you know it. Jaylen Brown. That is the guy that you need in these close playoff games to carry you through. And Brown now has that clutch factor that he's developed that is the most impactful to the biggest difference between winning and losing. Tatum is great. And we'll get to him, 31 points, had a great game. But in the second half, in the fourth quarter specifically, this game, other games as well, he tends to disappear. All right, when the waters get choppy, when the storm is coming, you have guys that run towards it or run away from it. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tatum runs away from it. I don't think he's afraid of the moment. But Jaylen Brown has taken the role of this team where he is the first guy running towards the storm. He runs towards the eye. He leads guys with leading in the front. And that transformation is why right now the Celtics are winning their first titles this quarter. It's not an accident, right? It's not a coincidence that as Jaylen Brown has really become comfortable in the fourth quarter and has really become comfortable as a leader of this team, that now the Celtics are finally breaking through. After years of knocking on the door, it's not a coincidence that now this is the year, this is the time they finally break through. Jaylen Brown in these close games and big-time moments when adversity rises, he is the one that meets the moment, doesn't run away from it. It's not an accident. In the fourth quarter of a close game, Jaylen Brown is a Celtic that scores the most points in the quarter, that took the most shots, made the most shots, grabbed 5 rebounds as well, made plays left and right. It's not a coincidence. This is a guy that, again, wants the ball in his hand. That's why he's the most important player for the Celtics to win a championship. And that's why I think Jason Kidd is right in the sentiment. Not the exact wording, but I think what his sentiment was when he said a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, it feels like weeks ago, a few days ago, that Jaylen Brown was the Celtics' best player. There's an argument there. I think Tatum is more offensively gifted, and he has the accolades as well to back up being the number one guy. But I think what Jason Kidd truly was saying, outside of just trying to maybe throw the Celtics off their game a little bit, was that in order for Boston to win a championship, they need Jaylen Brown to be at his best. They can survive and win games when they can win a title. They're about to win a title. With Jason Tatum, for the most part, playing okay to decent basketball in the postseason. They aren't in this position. They're not winning a championship if Jaylen Brown was just playing okay basketball. They need him to play at a higher level. They need that more than they need Tatum. And that's why I think you can say Jaylen Brown is the most important player for the Celtics winning a title. He impacts the game in so many different ways, not just scoring, but defensively, but rebounding, but playmaking wise. And again, in those big moments, he is not afraid. He runs to it. He wants the ball. Tatum is definitely deferential at those times. And you can't have the guy that's most important to win the championship also disappear in the fourth quarter. Brown is that guy that takes over the game, takes over the moment. And that's why I agree with Kid in the sense of like, if the Celtics are going to win a title, which they're about to, they need Jaylen Brown to be at his best more than they need Jason Tatum to be at his best. I think we're seeing that play out this series. Brown was awesome. Biggest quarter of the series, the one that could sway either way, fourth quarter, game 3. Mavs make that comeback. Who knows what momentum they could ride after this win? Jaylen Brown said, oh, no. This ain't your moment. This is my moment. That's what champions do. That's what leaders do. That's what championship players do. That's what Jaylen Brown did in game 3. He showed everybody for the Celtics to win a title and to win future titles as well. He is the biggest key to the Celtics and the most important player in the Celtics franchise going forward, not Jason Tatum. All right, I do want to give on the other side here, let's look at the Mavs. Because Luka Doncic, his basketball awareness, his basketball IQ took a huge hit late in this game. I don't know what he was thinking. It was absolutely inexcusable for him with 5 fouls in a close game with 4 minutes left to put himself in a position to take a charge where his future in this game is dependent upon the same guys he was yelling at and cursing at for that point 44 minutes. You cannot put the Mavs season, that's essentially what he did. You cannot put the Mavs season in the hands of the officials and expect them to bail you out. Why Luka thought that was the right basketball play to take a charge of 5 fouls, I would love an explanation for that. That was awful. That was terrible. There is no explanation or justification he can make or the Mavericks can make to try to say that was a good basketball play. It was. You have to let Jaylen Brown blow by you. You got to let him go to the hoop. You got to let him score. Because you staying in that game is more important than preventing 2 points from being scored. I don't know why Luka didn't realize that, but he paid the price by fouling out. And that leads to a bigger thing, because now that the Mavs season is over, looking ahead to the offseason, Luka has to get his emotions in check, because the only person that's going to prevent him from winning a championship is himself. We saw he has the talent, but the only thing stopping him is when he gets in his own head when it comes to the referees. Game 3 is the perfect example. Right from the jump, it felt like he was yelling at them, baiting, desperate for foul calls that he wasn't getting, and his play lagged once he saw the refs weren't going to bail him out. I mean, he's 11 of 27 from the field. He was insanely inefficient, and he was complaining most of the way. It goes hand in hand. When he is bitching about the refs, his play suffers. When he is locked in, when he is not complaining, when he is not worried about the 3 stripes on the outside, he's just worried about the guy in front of him and the other 4 defenders, he's unstoppable. There's not a player, there's not a team that can slow him down. And if he is just focused on basketball, he is going to win a championship. But if he is going to continue to let the referees get in his head and dictate his play, dictate his effort, he's never winning a championship with the Mavs. He's never winning a championship in his career, period. Because the refs are not even the refs. Luka's mind, thinking about the refs, is the only thing that can stop him on the basketball court. That's it. And if you cannot allow yourself in the finals, game 3 at home with, again, your season on the line, you go down 3-0, it is over. You can't put yourself in a position to be watching the Mavs season for the final 4 minutes of the game on the bench, unable to help. You can't do it. And if Luka, I don't know who's got to talk to him. I don't know if it's Jason Kidd. I don't know if it's Kyrie. I don't know if it's Mark Cuban, Dirk Nowitzki, his family. I don't know. But someone's got to do it. This offseason, sit Luka down, show him the final 4 minutes of this game and say, you are never winning a title when you were on the bench. You got to cut it out. You got to get over yourself. You got to grow up, mature. He's not 20 years old anymore. You can't be sitting there playing victim because, oh, the referees don't like me. They're being so mean. Why aren't they giving me calls? And then cry during a finals game. Suck it up, man. Play through it. If that doesn't change, Luka's never winning a title. The moment he stops forgetting about the refs and grows up, no doubt in my mind he'll get one. The referees, his mind thinking about the referees is the only thing preventing Luka from winning a championship. We saw it in game 3. It's going to cost the Mavs. Now, I don't think they had enough anyway, but it cost the Mavs in game 3. It cost them a chance of winning a title this year, and it's going to cost them a chance at winning titles in the future if Luka doesn't grow up and cut this out. I want to finish here, circle back to the Celtics really quickly, because I think they deserve a lot of credit, because this is a team that truly has grown up, and this is a team that I think mentally is finally there. Like, that's the biggest difference between this team and previous years. We talked about after game 2, in which they won that game despite everything kind of going against them. But the biggest thing for the Celtics this year compared to previous years, it's not like they have more talent. I would say the talent's pretty much the same from what they've had in previous years. They've always been a talented team. But mentally now, they don't panic. When games get close, again, led by Jaylen Brown, they now make the plays they were not making in previous years. They are now clutch. They are now fearless. And I think the perfect example of that was in that fourth quarter. That place, American Airlines, is rocking as Dallas, who was on the mat. I mean, if this was boxing analogies, flat on their back, the referee's there, 6, 7, 8. They got to 9 before they get up. 21-point deficit in the second half when you're down 0-2. That's a 9 count right there. They get off the mat. They start throwing some haymakers. Oh my God, there's a chance he could come back and win this fight. The crowd is into it. It's a 1-point lead for the Celtics. That is a game they lose in previous years 10 times out of 10. They have no gumption when it comes to moments like that. When they feel the game slipping away, they just, at that point, just push it away. They rarely grab it back. And to their credit, they grab the momentum back, led by Brown, no surprise. And they have showed a lot of fight. So, but at least for me, like, it's all mental, all up here. Drew Holiday deserves credit for that. Derek White, I think, deserves credit for that as well. He's made some big-time plays offensively and defensively in these big moments in this postseason. And Jaylen Brown, I think, deserves the most credit for it. He has been a vocal leader. He has stepped up, and now he's taken on that role of lead dog down the stretch. You would think offensively, oh, I need a big shot. Let's go to Jason Tatum. It's been Brown. It's been Brown who's taken a lot of those shots, making a lot of those shots. So, biggest takeaway for me, game 3, is Jaylen Brown. Biggest reason why the Celtics are winning this title, and he is the most important player going forward for the Celtics to win titles. Now, after this, he, I think, has surpassed Jason Tatum in terms of importance, not talent, importance to winning championships. So I want to hear your biggest takeaway from game 3 here. If you're watching on YouTube, Ryan Hick is the channel. Well, obviously, you know that since you're watching there already. Comment below your biggest takeaway from game number 3. If you're listening to this, appreciate you, on the Hick at Night podcast feed, Night spelled N-I-T-E. Right, head over to YouTube. Again, Ryan Hick is the channel name. See my nice smiling mug there for the profile picture, so you're at the right spot. Comment in the comment section there on this video, or just tweet me. That's easier. Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. Guess we're on Instagram too, TikTok. Why the hell not? Hick at Night. If you want to check us out on Instagram and also TikTok as well. Hick at Night. Night spelled N-I-T-E.